Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Singing Sparrow Studio. My name is Nancy, and I like to talk about anything related to knitting and fiber art. So, I hope you hang out with me, and I'll bring you up to date with what I've been working on lately. Last time in my video, I had purchased some new knitting needles, and they were the Knit Picks set. So I've been knitting with them, and I'm loving them. I'm really pleased with this purchase. I highly recommend them. They really have a nice, I'm not sure what the word is, like they don't slip. The stitches don't slip off of this nice wooden set like they do when I'm knitting with my metal needles. They just have that nice amount of resistance when I'm knitting. So I've really had fun knitting with them, and I'll show you what I've made. It's actually what I'm wearing right now. It's chilly here today, so I'm wearing this sweater because my house is cold, and I don't feel like I should have to turn the furnace on in August. I'm kind of resisting that idea. It should still be summer, but it was only 17 degrees in my living room, so I'm bundling up instead of turning on the heat. So anyhow, this is the sweater that I knit with my new knitting needles. I had planned on knitting this one for quite a while. I'll just turn around a little bit here and back up. You can kind of see it's a simple knit, just a garter and stockinette stitch. Just a nice pullover. It has a bit of an A-line shape to it, which is kind of flattering, you know, for people my age who maybe have a few little lumps and bumps that we're not so proud of. But yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this. It went well. It was a simple knit, so I didn't, you know, have to think too hard about doing it. The yarn I ordered from my favorite place on earth, which is Stash Lounge in Calgary, and they are so good. Seriously, you can order from them and receive your wool the next day, which is just the best thing when you live in a rural area and you don't have access to like a little knitting shop or anything like that for, you know, the yarns that I like to knit with. So yes, Stash is wonderful. And I can tell you a little bit more. One of my goals was to start keeping a knitting journal so I could remember what I had used, what I was working on, and keep track of my projects. So I've started using my snazzy, fancy little book here. And this sweater that I am wearing right now, it's actually called the Bijou Blouse, and it's by Haute Couture. So it's like oat, like OAT, which I thought was a really cute take on words. So the pattern is right here, and there were two options for knitting it. You could use a worsted weight or a chunky weight. So I opted out for using a worsted weight. I've knit quite a bit of chunky stuff, you know, over the past year, and I thought a worsted weight would be something good to have to wear in the fall. So I ordered my yarn from Stash, and like I said, I got it the next day, which I was really pleased with. The yarn I used is Barocco Ultra Alpaca Natural. So all the fibers on here are undyed. So this is just the natural color of the wool, which I thought was quite good. Kind of a, you know, oatmeal color, beigey oatmeal. I think it's actually called buckwheat, the color from Barocco, but I'm very pleased with it, and I would highly recommend this pattern to anyone who wants a simple, you know, simple but warm little pullover to wear on these colder days that are coming up. So yes, that is what I have completed recently. Oh, actually, I forgot. I did a hat as well. I used some yarn that I had just in my stash, and I knit this cloche hat, which is kind of a neat looking hat, reminiscent of the 1920s. I think it's got kind of a neat look to it. So I used yarn that I had in my stash. I can't remember too much about this yarn. I think it was from Custom Woolen Mills, which is about 45 minutes from my house here, where they have a little wool mill and they make their own yarn, and it's kind of an interesting place to go visit if anyone ever gets a chance. So this is basically my prototype, and I ordered some more yarn from Stash, and I I do some silly things sometimes. I think I was tired when I placed my order, and I originally wanted an orange colored yarn to match this color in this little scarf that I'd previously knit. So this little scarf, I thought I could wear it with this sweater, you know, keep my neck a little bit warmer. So this kind of neat orangey, burnt orange color in here, I wanted to make that hat out of that color. But I went on to Stash's website and I was using my iPad and I was tired instead of looking on my big computer screen where I can see things easier. And I inadvertently hit the wrong color selection. So I ended up getting, I ended up getting this, which is navy. So it's nowhere near orange that I thought, but I think it'll still make the hat out of it. And I might just order some more in the proper color later. But the yarn that I got was the Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. And that should be the right way to knit that funky little 1920s cloche hat again. So yeah, I'll let you know how that one turns out. Another one of my projects that I wanted to knit in the future is a sweater I had admired for quite a while. I don't know if you can see the picture very good. My printer was kind of crummy when I printed that, but it's kind of a 3/4 length sleeve that's sort of bell shaped, plain knitting, and then with a little bit of lace detailing on it. And the bottom is a little bit wavy with a bit of a lace pattern. So it looks simple, but the details make it, pop, I think. So I'm going to attempt to knit that one. And the yarn that I had ordered from Stash for that is Barocco Lannis, 100% wool here. It's a worsted weight as well. The color's called, I hope I say it right, Azure, Azure. And I thought it would be a little bit more of a greeny blue, but it's quite blue. I don't know if that color looks good on me or not, but I'm going to give it a whirl and see how that turns out. So that's my upcoming project. And while I was waiting for the wool to arrive to, start thinking about doing some other projects, I started using some wool that I had left over in my stash, and I was making, it's like a little t-shirt sweater by Drops. I've got the pattern here as well, and it is the one called Green Grove Tea. So, it looked simple. I've knit the ranunculus before in the past, and I didn't have any problems with that. I found ranunculus's pattern was just written step by step, very easy, great to follow. Loved it. So I thought, hey, I'm going to have no problem knitting this one, right? A little over, ambitious or over cocky with that one, but it's a nightmare. I don't know if everybody's had situations like that, but I ended up using some wool that I really like. It is 2 strands. So I have my Drops Kid Alpaca, and I also have paired it up with Cascade's 2020 fingering weight. And I really like how it knits up, and I really like this color, and I just happen to have enough left that I should be able to complete this sweater. But my goodness, it's my first time following a chart. So the patterns in here on the sweater, they don't tell you how to knit it row by row. You have to look at the little chart. And, things were going pretty good until I knit this bigger pattern here. And I don't know what happened, but there's errors in it. And I don't know if you can tell or not. I don't think you can really tell unless you know they're there, but like this part here doesn't quite match how it started up, I don't think. They started off being more, you know, what's the word, like more of a diagonal, and by the end, they just weren't quite lining up. So I don't know what I did, but I really did not enjoy that. I even ripped it out at one point. I ripped back, I don't know, maybe it was about six or eight rows. And that was a nightmare because when you're trying to rip back mohair, the fibers like to intermingle and kind of catch on each other. So the ripping out was even a bit of a task. But I did it, and I ended up improvising. So I just kept going with the pattern, and I missed a few rows of a pattern, and then I added my own. And then I got back on track. And now it's clear sailing from here on because it's just stockinette stitch and then ribbing. And then I'll go back and knit the little arms on afterwards. If I have enough yarn left, I might actually make the sleeves longer than the short ones in the pattern. Just, it's getting chilly this time of year, so maybe a longer sleeve would be a little bit more functional. But either way, I am planning on wearing this sweater. It will be utilitarian and usable. It's just I'll know that it's not perfect, which happens. So, like I said, that was called the Green Grove Tea by Drops Design, and I have nicknamed it the Royal Mess Sweater because I know it's been a royal mess while I've been knitting it, but that's my own little internal joke, I guess. Another thing that I found, I've been ordering a bit of yarn just so I have some different product to work with over the winter coming up, and I discovered Mary Maxim. Good old Mary Maxim, the company that has been around since I was a wee girl. They have a sale on right now on their Croy sock yarn, and I don't mind knitting with the Croy wool. I know some people find it too kind of too thick, It is a little bit on the thick end for a number one weight, but like I said, it's cold here where I live, and I like a nice warm sock. So I ended up taking advantage of their sale. So each ball is on sale for $4.99 right now, and I know Michael's, I believe they're $7.99 for the same ball. So it's a pretty good deal. If anyone else likes knitting with Croy, take advantage of the sale at Mary Maxim. They're good to deal with. So I ended up getting quite a variety. So this is a nice funky bunch of colors. I've knit with this one before and the socks turned out nice and fun. I also have this sort of a pink and red, and that looks like it'll be a fun one. I got just a plain red one, thinking that maybe a pair of red socks with maybe lace patterned on the top could be fun for Christmas. So I got red. Then I got some gray and blue, a little bit more masculine looking, but that will knit up nicely as well. This one I had previously had as well, and I quite like it. It knits up into a nice self-striping sock. And they had some more blue tones that I got, blue and a bit of white together. And this one is sort of an interesting mix, kind of some warmer tones in there with the gray, and I think that'll be all right as well. And I got another blue one, has a little bit of dark colors in it as well, like charcoal and a little bit of a brown tone. So that one's probably going to be nice. And then the last one I got is mostly navy with a little bit of purple and lighter blues running through it. So, again, that'll make a nice durable sock, I think. Yeah, so I look forward to making some socks. My only problem with that is I'm kind of bored with the socks that I have been making. My favorite sock book is the Jean Perry booklet, and it has a bunch of different socks in there that are, the patterns are according to the weight of the yarn. I'm just a bit bored because I tend to knit the same ones over and over. So if any of you have any great suggestions for socks that aren't overly intricate, because with the self-striping yarn, I find the pattern doesn't have to be that intricate or complex because the variegation in the yarn tends to be sort of the focus of the sock anyhow. But if anyone has any ideas for, some socks that might be fun, a little bit lacy maybe, or ribbed, or something that just isn't so, plain vanilla boring. If you have any ideas, shoot me a message or a comment down below, and I'd love to know what everyone else is knitting for socks, and then I'll branch off and try something different. So, yeah, that would be appreciated. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please click the like button and feel free to subscribe and support me as I continue forward on this journey. Have a great day. Bye.